Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Historical Humans Reacts. Today we are looking at the top 10 archaeological discoveries of 2022 in Turkey. Now, who wants to do the countdown for me?
Number 10.
Oh god. they've been torturing me with this for hours off screen.
Number 10, 3,300-year-old seal at Tavsanli Hoyuk, Kütahya. The 3,300-year-old seal found at Tavsanli Hoyuk is among the top 10 archaeological discoveries of 2022. And Colin, what is it?
Well, it's most of a terracotta seal that was found during excavations of what is one of the largest Bronze Age mounds in Western Anatolia. It's the mound it was in is 45 hectares, and that makes it well, it is contemporary with the Hittite Empire and Assyrian colonialism. So there's a lot of fun things there, and it is it's from about the end of the Hittite imperial period. So it's a very fun little thing. This is obviously the mark of a important man of state. So that's always fun to find what people were using to identify with themselves in official correspondence, because that really helps you know what's going on where.
Number 9. Hundreds of previously unknown hieroglyphs in Kyorum.
This is a fun one. So these were found in the in what was the capital of the Hittite Empire in Turkey, and they're 3,500 years old. So they're kind of a big deal. They're a little bit older than the seal from number 10, and this is a very fun one because it was an accidental discovery. One of the members of the research team was doing photographic survey, and he saw something and went to investigate. It's amazing what walking into a place will do for you.
Funny enough, most of our job, or at least a good portion of it, involves just walking places. Landscape archaeology, guys.
Well, I did CRM, and when I was a contract archaeologist, most of the surveys we did were alongside highways. So there's archaeology, but it's usually roadside.
We quite literally in Italy walked into someone's property to get to a cornfield on the top of a hill that was an old Etruscan city.
Yep, that's how it works. Most of the near 250 hieroglyphs are believed to depict gods and other deities. That definitely gives us some sort of hint as to what the purpose of the tunnel where they were found is for.
Right. Number 8. Mosaic floors showing the open air feast in Kahramanmaraş.
Yeah, good luck saying
that.
Kahramanmaraş.
Yes, that's it.
That's as close as we're gonna get to it.
We should learn Turkic.
No, I have a hard enough time with English.
English.
Yeah, but this is a 1,500-year-old mosaic that's part of a bath ruins and some other structures. It's 50 square meter floor, so it's this 50 square meters of mosaic here. This thing is not small. It's about 150 feet, give or take a little bit.
Wow.
So this thing is huge. This thing is I believe about half the size of a football field.
This is Byzantine, ain't it?
Yeah. 15 years old. Either early Byzantine.
Wow.
Yeah, just by judging
that's post that is post Tetrarchy. So yeah, that is early Byzantine.
Oh, I love a good mosaic, guys. I really do.
All right, Aaron, you're up to the bat.
Number 7, an inscription in Konya that says Cherkoglu in the Greek alphabet. I
This is a fun one for me, just because it is. I'm gonna just save you from yourself trying to say more
Yeah.
words. This
Yeah,
is
that's a
what's fun about this is this is a lovely intersection of cultures and languages because it's the Greek alphabet inscribing a word that is not Greek. And if that's not significant, then nothing is, because if you are writing in one language, if you're writing one language in the script of another language, that's some cross-cultural interaction there, and that's always very significant for anyone.
They
Um,
also mentioned that it's possible evidence for the existence of Christianized Turkish before 1071.
yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, in 1071, that's the Battle of Manzikert, which is a mark of the start of the decline of the Byzantine Empire and the push of the Turks into Anatolia.
It seems to be, yeah, and this seems to be part of Turkish soldiers in the Byzantine army about at either that century or the century before that, which seems about right. The Byzantines governed in Greek, and they ruled Turkey. So if you were a soldier in their army, it's likely you had to take orders in Greek, especially if you were getting near the brass.
All right, go for it, Justin.
All right. Number 6. Inscription with the name Gordion for the first time in Ankara.
Yeah.
In case anyone doesn't know, which I feel like
Just say it.
anyone here would know.
Just say the
If you
thing.
recognize the name Gordian, it is a reference to the Gordian knot that Alexander famously split in half because in order to rule the cap this these Anatolian people, the only people who could rule it was the one who could solve the.
It was foretold that their true king would be the man who could solve this impossible knot that was held in the city of Gordian.
Yeah.
And Alexander undid the knot by destroying it.
Quite literally taking his sword out and cutting it in half and called it solved.
Yeah. Yes. This inscription is from the Hellenistic period, about 50 to 70 or so years after the death of Alexander the Great, and it appears to be one of the earliest inscriptions on which the word Gordian is mentioned, which is always very interesting for the term to be the first time coming up kind of after the fact. It's a very fun thing, but we're getting into the top half here, so this should be the really good stuff.
All right.
Number 5, Iron Age underground complex under a house in Urfa.
So this was an underground ice age complex in San Liufra.
Just call it Urfa. Just call it Urfa.
Urfa. That may have been used for a fertility cult of the first millennium BC. We love our prehistoric fertility cults.
Iron Age sex cult. Iron Age sex cult.
Stop it.
But
all of you.
The walls of the old complex, which hasn't quite been fully explored because of instability, feature rock art drawings depicting an Assyrian deity procession. And the style of art seems to have been adopted by the local groups, and it shows how strong the Neo-Assyrian Empire culture from Mesopotamia had spread to this region.
Yeah, well, it's not just that, but the panel that we do have shows deities from multiple divine iconographies: Neo-Assyrian, Aramaic, Syria, Anatolian. These are different cultures. They all interacted. They all had shared contact, but they are decidedly different cultures. Yeah, it's a very fun thing there.
And the inscriptions of these drawings revealed the names of 4 gods. Hadad, the god of storm, rain, and thunder. Wife Atagatis, the goddess of fertility and protection. The moon god Sin, and the sun god Samas.
Yep. And it's important to note that the script is Aramic and the art style is Neo-Assyrian. So this is cultural conflux if there ever was one.
And number 4, 7th century neighborhood in Ephesus suffered a severe fire.
Oh no, not the Library of Ephesus!
No!
Oh god!
Oh god!
It's Alexandria all over again, guys!
War flashbacks.
This one is a very fun one for me because the neighborhood apparently completely disappeared around 614 615 and it just stopped existing with the fire. Like it's just gone. And that's a very significant change because you see a lot of major fires: Chicago, Alexandria, London. These
Alexandria, no.
the cities rebuild. The cities rebuild, and Ephesus is not abandoned as a result of this fire, but it also doesn't rebuild over the re-inhabit the neighborhood.
This is 7th century after all. So it's possible there was a bit of population decline in the city. So there probably wasn't a need to rebuild it.
That is entirely possible, but like a lot of the different fires that we mentioned happened at various points throughout history. Like, yeah, it is kind of the 7th century is kind of a bad time to be in Turkey.
Yeah, Byzantines were going through a wild time at this point.
Yeah, it's not 7th century isn't the worst time. I do believe it's about the time they're trying to reclaim Italy.
Well, because under Justinian, that's 6th century. So this would have
So
been.
they've just gotten kicked back out of Italy, probably.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah, so they are
still hold Sicily.
Yeah, so the empire is beginning to contract once again. So yeah, probably issues. All right, top 3, everybody. We made it.
Number 3, the huge underground city in Mardin.
Yeah. Now,
underground. Hell yeah.
I think this probably almost should have been number 1. It's an entire city. There's not a lot you can do to top that,
except put some dirt over it and be on top of it.
No, that's literally topping it. Although probably not in.
We're archaeologists. We untop things. Okay,
there's
not a lot. There's not a lot more that we can untop than a city. I'm just gonna keep talking over you two until until something happens. But yes, it is a 2nd and 3rd century AD city with places of worship, silos, water wells, decorations, everything you would need to run a late Roman city. And it is it's a lovely little stone structures we get to see here. It's a late Roman. So this is actually Roman stuff. We've gone all over the map here, and we finally landed at Romans proper.
Everything comes back to Rome.
Unless you're in the camp that I'm in, that Byzantines are still Roman. Whether someone likes to admit it or not.
Keep your crazy to yourself. And
number 2, a mysterious Uraritan complex decorated with colorful frescoes and van.
Hey, frescoes! I like frescoes.
Beautiful wall paintings at Garabin Tepe. 2,700 years old, so not the oldest thing on this list, but it's getting up there. This is
that's a pretty solid ranking, to be fair.
Yeah. This is I believe pre-Bronze Age collapse. So this is a wonderful little find. Just look at the color, the preservation in that image.
I mean, the blues and the reds. For those of you who, again, just in case like anyone missed it, frescoes are in fact it's a fancy word for wall paintings.
Yes, artwork,
like very complex wall paintings.
Yeah, for a fresco to be a fresco, you have to paint whatever building material you're using is still wet, usually wet plaster. It's not just painting over the wall; it's painting into the very fabric of the wall.
But the thing
makes it so enduring.
The thing with this part as well that it very much overlooks is the fact that this is a part of monumental structures and has many rooms connected by corridors, and it was discovered 6 to 7 meters from the surface. So
Yeah,
it's
you
a
can kind of.
deep, deep complex.
Yeah, and the decorations are organized. It does note that each room seems to have different themes going on, so it's not one and done. It's every single part of this building has a set purpose.
Yeah, in the pictures that we have, you can kind of see you can see a person, and then it looks like some sort of animal, maybe like a goat.
Yeah, it says
Not
the
a goat.
human. There's a human in the middle, and he's surrounded by mythological decorations.
Yeah, so
So there's some sort of mythical storytelling going on here. We just don't know what it is yet.
I can't imagine what
it's a,
could top
it's a
that.
2022 discovery, so we don't know everything about this.
and finally, number one, ritualistic structures with 11,000-year-old obelisks in Diyarbakir.
Yeah.
And
I can see why this is number one, because this is a pre-pottery. This is a pre-pottery settlement.
This is Göbekli Tepe era.
Göbekli Tepe. It is like.
Tepe, yeah. This is Neolithic.
Wow.
For those of you who aren't as well versed, so the Neolithic is kind of broken up into like two sections, pre-pottery and then pottery. And pre-pottery is something very interesting, because when we get pottery, that's when we start seeing real depictions of art and ritual purposes. And
pottery tends to come with a lot of specialization and sedentarism because there's a need to carry large jars.
And it was always thought that if you found pottery, it was already a settled settlement, like a sedentary people living there. But with the discovery of a pre-pottery societies, it kind of changed the narrative. And so it's really interesting and fun to learn about.
I just want to highlight the dates, which is 9,300 and 8,800 BC, which is roughly, 10,800 to 11,300 years ago.
Yeah.
Agriculture is dated to about 11 to 10,000.
So this is like right at that transition period.
This is right after humanity first figured it out. I would like to take a moment here to sound the little red alarm.
No.
So even though the excavations here have ended, dam waters are flooding the area and will submerge the site, which is, well, it will keep people from looting it. Is never really a good sign to begin with.
Yeah, I heard a lot about this.
This is rescue archaeology at its finest. This is 11th hour stuff.
I got to experience a little bit with the Army Corps of Engineers of surveying resurfaced archaeological sites, and it's not pretty. The sites do not preserve well underwater, especially in land that is not normally known for being the bottom of a lake. Who would have thought?
The materials were not built to withstand it in the first place.
But why do we need to keep building dams? They're redundant at this point.
Power, mostly. They're good for electricity, and people like that.
We have the sun, damn it, and wind.
Well, on that power. Terrible.
And before we leave here, Aaron, I'm very ashamed of some of your comments earlier. Byzantines come from Romans.
They are, in fact, Roman.
They come from Romans. So, you saying that I don't believe that Byzantines have this Roman association with your psycho eyes, they're just very deeply hurt by that. And that's going to conclude our top 10 list. Cut the video.